Good morning, everybody. It's been a little while since I've done these Monday morning chit chats, and I'm in my new office, which is nowhere near ready. It's a work in progress. It's actually also the love area of my home, so I've got to really tweak how I'm going to blend those two together so it doesn't affect either. Anyhow, today's little chit chat is on karma. What is karma? Now, obviously this is just my opinion and everyone has their own, that's all cool and how it should be. Recently, this week, I was on TikTok, which is one of my fave platforms, and there was a person on there and they were talking about karma, but they were talking about it in a way of where they were offering like how to give karma to people, bad karma to people, spells and hexes and what you can do to, if somebody's done you wrong, what you can do about that to make them in a bad place. And I was like, Jesus Christ, really? This person is out there saying that she's saying she's a witch, saying that she's a spiritual person, and I'm thinking, really? Anyhow, so I put into a post, into the comment, like, well, you need to be really careful here about what you give out and what you get back. And somebody put in and said that they were really worried about the effects it would have on them if they were to do what this lady was saying, the effects it would have on them, and would it affect them in a negative way if they were going to do something bad, and if they were to buy this hex or whatever it is off this person, would they be in trouble for it, etc., etc. Now, so I put on, I was like, absolutely, the energy that you give out is what you're going to get back. And the lady had put in like, no, if you're doing it because you're giving it back to somebody, then it's okay. It's all right to do that because they've already done bad for you. So it's okay to do bad for them. And I was like, what planet is this person on? Now, this is obviously, like I said, just my opinion of things here. And karma energy for me is, actually I've seen it a lot in my readings lately, the Ten of Swords, the karmic card. Karma energy for me is all based on vibrations. It's had a bad rap, I think, over the years of karma's going to get you, and well, wait till they get their karma. And one of the people in this chat said, but this bad person who's been doing all these bad things for me, they're never going to get their karma because they're still doing it, and they seem to be like getting away with murder, etc. And I was like, karma's so much different to what we think it is, what some people think it is. Now, the universal law is that everything works on a vibration. And that can be for manifesting, that can be for goal setting, that can be for when I do the tarot with the Feng Shui, where you're going to put the certain tarot cards. That can be in Feng Shui, how you're going to start to move your furniture around or put certain remedies in place. It all starts with an intention, it all starts with a thought, it all starts with a vibration. Now, that vibration will trickle into wherever it needs to go. Now, karma, if somebody has done you wrong and you believe it to be wrong, and you are on the receiving end of that, the best thing that you can do is, we hear it all the time, send them love, send them light, but the best thing you can do is just look at your own actions of that, how you react to it, because your reactions are going to have a ripple effect. Don't worry about what they're doing. Don't worry about their karma. Just concentrate on how you're going to cope with it. If you feed into that karmic hit, if you feed into, doing the same back to them or feeding into what they're doing to you, because it's coming from a negative place of being pissed off or being angry or being sad or frustrated, that's the energy that you're going to filter out. So you have to be really mindful of how you react to it. Now, karma is a reaction to a situation, good or bad. It's a karmic energy of what we're sending in our vibrations, we're going to receive, because we're sending it out on that level of vibration. So if we send out, even if we think that it's only going to do them harm. If we're sending a harmful vibration out, we will feel that at some point. Morning, Julie. Morning, Isabel. We will feel that at some point. So you have to be super careful and be prepared if you are going to do something that is affecting somebody else. Then you have to be aware of the consequences, because the energy will come back to you. Now, whether it comes back to you straight away or whether it comes back to you later on, is the time of it could be anything there. And that applies to good things as well. You know, you might do a really good deed and then you'll see that something really positive happens to you in a similar way, in a karmic way. So karma doesn't have to be bad. Good karma and bad karma. Obviously, we need both to understand both. But most of the time, people that are doing you wrong, they're somewhere along their line, they're not happy, because that's why they're doing these negative things. Because the negative energy that they will be producing, that they will be using to send out this karmic energy to you, because they're sending it out, you don't actually need to do anything about it. It will come back on themselves somewhere along the line. But it might not be in the way that you expect. Now, obviously, social media is fake, isn't it? You know, what we see out there and what goes on behind closed doors is completely different. And I think most of us now know that that's true. I once worked with somebody and they would moan all day long about their family, about money problems, about this, about that, but they would post the complete opposite, like how in love they are with their partner, and I'll be like, just been moaning about them all day. Or they post like how proud they are of their son, and I'm like, it's not what you were saying a few hours ago. So what people put out on platforms is mostly very different to what goes on behind closed doors. So don't be fooled into what you see. So even though you might be seeing that somebody is doing all right, or that somebody is that's done you wrong is looking like they are being all right, most likely they're not. So just trust the universe that the karmic law will, morning Georgie, will filter back to them at some point. Now, when it happened on a personal level to me, and I sat and I chatted with my guides and I was like, what the hell? What I learned from that was that the karma wasn't necessarily, I mean, it has ended up being like that, but the karma wasn't necessarily what I wanted them to happen. I just let things be, because the karmic energy was that they were not a happy person. And that is such a powerful karmic backlash, if you like. If you can be happy, if you can be at peace, doesn't matter what's going on, if you can find that inner peace and know that you're doing good, that you're doing things from the heart, that you're doing things truthful and in the best way that you can, and that you're not doing things detrimentally on purpose to people or to situations, it's all you've got to worry about. You will have that inner peace of, well, I'm all right. I know I'm all good. My dad always used to say to me, it doesn't matter what happens, as long as you know the truth, and if you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to worry about. As long as you know that you've done nothing wrong from your heart, you've got nothing to worry about. So when people are doing you wrong, and you know that they're doing you wrong, and you know genuinely in your heart, deep down, honestly with yourself, that you actually haven't, that's all you need to worry about, because they will most likely not have inner peace. And they will be doing these disruptive things because they haven't got inner peace. They might be jealous of someone, or annoyed about a situation. So they're trying to, do their karma on someone else. Again, I know somebody meant to be in the spiritual world, so they should have an understanding of this. And they are so hell-bent on getting a team of people absolutely done. And they are putting so much time and energy in getting this group done for something, that they're not seeing the beauty of their own stuff. They're not having that inner peace. They're not sleeping properly at night. They're having health problems, because that energy is coming back. That negative thought, that vibration is coming back on them. So they're not in a good place. But if they just left the person be, or the group rather be, then it would sort itself out. So the people that give out bad karma all the time aren't happy. They're not at peace with themselves. They have issues of some kind that they've not dealt with, and they're just in a place of their own hatred, of their own stress, of their own anxieties. And that is enough for you to know that their life isn't the grand life that they want to be leading, or what anyone would want to be leading. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to put anything in place, because you know and trust that the universe will just sort it out. Like I said, it might not be in the same way that you expect it to be. And when I voiced this on another platform, and they were like, oh, but then they find inner peace by hurting people, by doing these bad things. They're happy to do that. Not really. Deep down, they won't be. They will be issues there. I stopped going back and forth on the chat, because I thought you're just not in that place to listen to it. And that's why I thought I'd do a chat today. Just not in that place to listen to what it actually is and understand the vibration. And because you're so worried about how that other person feels, how can you find inner peace when you're worrying about stresses of other people, how they're doing with their actions there? So karmic energy is a reaction to an action that's happened. Now, for me personally, and I can only ever speak on my personal things, I know that when I'm in, if you like, how can I put it? It's just a feeling. It's just this feeling. I know that when I'm balanced with my karmic energy, when I've done something, when it happens quite quickly to me, that's how I know. So I did. I'm not going to explain exactly what it was, but it was a few years ago. I did a good deed somewhere along the line, and literally within 12, no, not even that, maybe it been like 6 hours of me doing that good deed, I then found myself in a situation where I needed a very similar thing happening, and somebody, I think I bumped into them, and they were able to help me out in a similar situation that I helped this other person out. So for me, I was in that moment, I remember like, oh, that's karma. And it was balanced because it happened super quickly. Now, I don't know if that happens to everybody and if that is the right thing, but for me, it was just like, oh, that means I'm balanced. If I've got to wait a long time, then I know it's like, oh, I'm kind of like, I've got to collect a few more good points there. But because it happened all in the line, I was like, oh, I must be karmically balanced there for it to happen straight away. And that is just my vibe, my feeling. I say right or wrong, but you just have to be really mindful when it comes to karmic energy. It's not as simple as, well, they're going to get bad karma because they've done something. The fact that you're actually thinking that and saying that and hoping that, that's what's going to come back to you. It's not going to get to them, it's going to come back to you. Their stuff will come back to them, your stuff will come back to you. And it might not be easy to send love and light to somebody, and you don't have to do that, but what you really need to be aware of is your own energy, your own reactions to it, and how you react to that situation, and just cut it dead, just stop it, so that negative energy, negative vibe stops with you and doesn't filter to anywhere else. And then you can turn yourself in, because you've got the power of your thought, the power of your own energy, that's our superpower. You can turn that into anything that's going to be much more beneficial for you. And just think, how am I going to deal with this? What will be my reaction? It's human nature, sadly, to think, I want to do that person wrong because they've done me wrong. I want bad things to happen to them because they've done bad things to me. It's human nature, or it's human nature to think, I want karma to get them. But it's not. Look at the way that humans treat each other. Not very nice. We've not learned over all these years with the war of fighting for land. And it goes back, since day one, that people have killed people for land. We're still doing that in 2025. So we've not learnt, so we're pretty stupid. So although it is human nature, just think, does that really serve? Has it served anyone? An eye for an eye makes the world go blind. Does it really serve anyone to send out that negative way of thinking? No. Has it worked? No. And you might, when you see someone fall down, you might feel a little bit like, even if you've not done anything, human nature, you might feel a little bit like, interesting, karma's caught up with you there. But even that thinking will vibrate to you. It won't vibrate to them, it will vibrate to you. And then the people that you're in contact with, if you get in a conversation, did you see that so-and-so fell down? And they're, yeah, I did, yeah, karma's going to get them. The two of you have doubled that power, or the three of you have doubled that power, and then they go and report. And because we're human, we then gossip, so then we go and tell another person, did you see that person? Blah, blah, blah. And then and that's how that vibration expands, and that horrible karmic energy expands and gets filtered into the world, and before you know it, it's splashed all over the place. It's got twisted and torn about. Chinese whisper, it's never quite the true story that it was right at the beginning. And that's a real negative part of one of the human nature side of things there. So just be super aware. And the word spelling comes from and spells comes from what comes out of our mouth, spell. So just be super careful, or if somebody's done you wrong, of how you react to that. Just let nature do its thing, and be more concerned about picking yourself up. And if something, I've got a bit of a thing with injustice there, to the point, I don't know what's going on with my Libra in my chart, but to the point of I've stopped. I did used to be a real soap person, so I used to love choreo, so love EastEnders, and I used to love Emmerdale. I haven't watched them for over 10 years now, and each one, when I stopped watching them, it was because of an injustice storyline. I just can't cope with it. I remember when I stopped watching, and anything to do with children I can't deal with. I remember stopped watching EastEnders because it was when Ben was a little boy, and the stepmom was being horrible to him, and it just wasn't. Eventually it got found out, but I couldn't bear that storyline. I had to stop watching it as soon as that storyline, because it was just so unjust. And then I can't remember Corey, but I remember Emmerdale being the same. There was a long storyline, and even though it was just like story, I was like, it was in my mind. I couldn't help it. So anything to do with unjust and things that aren't true or aren't fair, it really gets my goat. I can't deal with it very well. So when someone does me wrong, or someone I know wrong, that's not fair, that's unjust, it does get my goat. But I've learned to not feed that, not to go into, I did back in the day go on and try and do my story of what's my side of the story, but you're just feeding into that negative energy and the drama that brings, and the dramatic people that brings. But if you just cut it dead, don't feed it, let them, the energy will go to them, and it won't be in a favourable way, because that's exactly how it works. So that you don't actually need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. If somebody's done you wrong, you don't need to do anything. The only things that I've done, or that I would continue to do now, if I had people around me, I'm quite quick at getting it now, so if there was people around me that were doing wrong, I would just cut myself off. But if there was something where they were continuously damaging something to do with my family or home or business, then I would do certain things to protect that energy, absolutely. But I wouldn't be thinking karma, I need to get your karma back, or karma's going to get you, because for me that's a negative response that we've been wrongly conditioned over the years, uneducated over the years, and haven't learned what karmic energy is. Now in the tarot, the karma card is the 10 of swords, and the position, I don't know if I've got it to hand, the image is he's literally stabbed in the back, but as a 10 it's a completion. So karmic energy is usually a completion of a situation that karmically you're done, you're finished, it's over, and that can be really good. So it could be like if you move house, big shift. If you've been in your home for a long time and you move, that's a karmic shift, that's a karmic ending around you. Relationships that have been there for a while, or that have taught you a lot of lessons, can be karmic. Karmic energy is like what you learn from it, not about what you give back in a negative way, but what you learn from it for your soul to grow. And really, those people that do us wrong, we actually want to thank them in a way, because when you go in yourself and you understand, here it is, and you look at what lessons you've learned from that karma, from that energy, from that experience, somewhere along the line your soul would have agreed with it, and you can be like, tick, thank you, I've experienced that. The problem is when you don't recognise it as a lesson and it keeps repeating itself. And this is where the karmic 10 of swords comes in, because it's like repetitive energy, things that you've been going through over and over, and mentally it's draining, and it's just more stabbing you in the back. And if you don't pay attention and recognise it, it can continue. But usually when this card pops up for somebody, and lately this card has been popping up loads in the readings, So for me, it's all like that chapter is really coming to an end. You're really starting to understand where the part that you played in it, the part that they played, and where your soul is going to start to recognise that, learn and grow. Now, it's difficult. It's difficult to close those doors. So it takes a lot to go within, and takes a lot of self-discovery and shadow work and understanding. But it honestly is so much more peaceful and simpler when you just cut and just let the universe deal with it, rather than yourself getting drawn into excessive negative thinking. Just try and cut it. And the more you do it, the quicker it will become. And replace those thoughts with positive thoughts, because you want good karma, you want good things to happen, you want the joy, you want the beauty, you want the happy experiences there. Now, I know the last couple of months for a lot of people have been really challenging, and it was said all over the place astrologically, and certainly in the readings from October, I've been saying to people, January, February, March is going to be a little bit challenging. But we are now coming into a new energy, a new set of karma, and that might be why this card is coming up a lot for people. We've got a couple more weeks, but really, as we go into Aries season, things are going to lighten up for a lot of more people. Now, the Pisces season that we're in now is the end of the zodiac for the last year, for 2024's cycle. It's karmic. We're coming to the end of a karmic cycle. So a lot of people will start to feel like they're tying up loose ends. They're preparing for something new. They're getting ready for the next stage in their life. They're getting ready for a rebirth. And the karmic energy will be that people are understanding the bigger picture. They're understanding what energy they're connecting to and what they want. And some people will be cutting ties with certain individuals in their life because they don't want to take, subconsciously, consciously, they're not going to want to take that energy into their next karmic year, into their next period around them. So just have a little think around yourselves today about how you react to certain situations, knowing that that's going to bring you your karmic energy back. Have a little look at what lessons you've learned over the last few months. And as we go into this new cycle, have a little look at what it is that you want to take forward, what it is that you want to, pack in your bags, take with you into this new chapter. So there you have it, everybody. Your Monday morning chit chat with me, Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. I just felt like, let's talk about karma, and it progressed into the end of this chapter, Zodiac, which I hadn't planned at the beginning. So it's funny how things go. So just be mindful of the karma, the actual sending out of negative vibrations, negative words, what you say, what you project around. That's what's coming back to you, not necessarily anything to do with somebody else's stuff there, but your stuff. And again, if you're one of these that think, that person's always getting away with stuff, that person's always doing it, that person always is bad stuff, I do everything good but nothing good happens to me, why am I always the one? Have a look at yourself. It will be the energy that you're sending out, and that might be because you're in a negative space, because your mind is overthinking negative thoughts, or because you're wrapped up in their energy. And if their energy is bad and you're thinking about them, you're just going to create that. So try cutting off just what no longer serves and what's not part of your reality, what you don't want to take into your new chapter there. But recognize that karmic energy, the good and bad, that whatever your thought, whatever your projection, the energy that you personally give out is what is going to come back to you. Never mind what other people give out.